Let's talk about some recent Love After Lockup updates. First, starting off with Arthur. He received a lot of backlash when he posted a few weeks ago that his OnlyFans link was coming soon. And he said, hit me up if you're interested in shooting content, preferably Latinas and light-skinned black women. No shade to anyone else. I have no idea how he plans on shooting OF content with other women while he's still behind bars, and Arthur has me blocked, so I was able to find a screenshot of one of his posts from All Things Lockup on Twitter, and this is what Arthur had to say in response to the backlash he was receiving. He says, got a lot of DMs about the post that I put up about who I want to do content with for my OnlyFans, which has been deleted. My preference is my preference, and it's okay to be vocal about what you like and do not like in the bedroom. If you stop supporting me for who I want to be involved with sexually, then I suggest you take a moment to get your ish together. I love everyone, but I have my preferences, the same way all of y'all do. I still delete the post because I respect you all enough to do that. Remember, this my page though. He said, I love dark-skinned girls. I've just never been with one. So don't be mad at me for saying what I said. I have nothing against dark skins. I love y'all. While we're talking about Arthur, the other day I was talking about this Sarcasm article talking about the details on the arrest report from the incident with him and Hope, and I completely glossed over the part where it said that Hope told police that before this alleged shooting they had already been broken up for a month, and Arthur randomly popped back up, but she already had a feeling that he was gonna pop back up at her apartment before he did. And then when he showed up, next thing you know, she got shot 3 times in the glutes, in the left, the center, and the right side, which is terrifying because she easily could have became paralyzed for the rest of her life, or been like Maurice, for example, if he would have just shot her a little bit more higher up in the back. And now let's talk about Britney and Kirok. They posted a few different pictures in Texas. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like they finally made it to Texas. But then Britney posted a few different videos from her new job, and she's working at this place called Sassy Jones, and they sell like makeup and different accessories. And she posted a post on Instagram and said, come see me at Sassy Jones in Short Pump Mall. So of course, you know me, I'm nosy. I go to Google and I Google that Short Pump Mall, Sassy Jones, and it came up as Richmond, Virginia. And this post was just from the other day. So I was thinking her and Kirok were living in Texas, but she's working in Virginia. It sounds like she's still living in Virginia. I don't know if Kirok went to Texas and left her behind. I highly doubt that happened. Or maybe they decided to put off moving out there. And Britney and Kirok have been out here living their best lives. Britney was bragging about the fact that Kirok recently took her on a vacation resort, invited her close loved ones, surprised her with her best friend, and then they ended up getting their first timeshare together. And she said that this is an investment for their future and for their personal and business lives. So I guess they're going to try to make some money out of this timeshare. I just hope they know all the fees that come along with timeshares. I've heard a lot of horror stories about timeshares. I mean, I have heard of people who are happy too, though, with what they have received. But I've heard a lot of people complain about the fees. And I guess the contract is so hard to get out of. And even when you do pass away, if you have kids, they pass it on to your kids, and then they're stuck having to pay the monthly fees. Plus all the yearly fees that come along with it. It just gets pretty expensive long term. But they ended up doing it, and Britney I just hope that she's at least paid some of her restitution she owes. She claims she owes $10,000 in restitution, or she has to be on probation until 2030. But if she pays off her restitution, then I guess she could be on probation like tomorrow if she paid it off. And if she's out here buying timeshares, I hope she's just at least paid off some of that restitution first. I figured she had all her restitution and everything taken care of since she was out here driving like a nice fancy car. And then someone asked Britney in her comments and said, I'm not judging y'all, but I see y'all both say you have a relationship with God. How do you think God feels about being in a gay relationship? This is a genuine question. I'm curious to know at least your stance on this. And Kerouac said, simple. It's not a gay relationship. I real life was born different, my dude. Now, out of respect for myself and my woman, I ain't gonna tell you what I got down there, but I'm working with a little something, my G. No surgeries. So I'm a little slow, so I'm not sure what Kerouac's trying to say here. I assume he's trying to say, I got the strap to whip out. Now let's talk about Britney and Ray. Just a little short update with them. We talked about the story that Sarcasm broke a few months ago when Ray was arrested after he ended up striking Britney with his hand. And he was arrested. An order of protection was put in place where he was not allowed to go back to the house he shared with Britney. And he was allowed to talk to Britney, but he couldn't talk to her in a threatening or harassing manner. And now he is officially allowed to go back to Britney's home. I'm assuming that they are still together, or they're going to try to work on things since they ended up getting this worked out to where he's able to go back to the house that he shares with Britney. And now let's talk about Bianca. She actually was responding to comments on her Instagram. And first she posted that her and Daniel were looking for a kitten. So her and Daniel finally kind of negotiated, and she's been wanting a baby really bad. And Daniel was like, look, I'm not ready for a baby, but you can get you a kitten. So she has been searching high and low for a kitten. Someone did comment under this picture she recently posted with Daniel, and they're like, are you pregnant? And she responded and said no, but her and Daniel made an agreement that they would wait another year or two before they had kids. So they have halted their plans for now. And she actually was opening up about her father on Instagram. I guess her dad was arrested back in 2014 for DV, and she was calling out her dad for all sorts of things. She said that he didn't even show up to her birth because he was too busy watching a soccer game. I guess he coached soccer for years, and he dated all these different soccer moms of kids that he coached. And over the years, all these kids started reaching out to Bianca and saying, oh yeah, your dad put hands on my mom and did things that he shouldn't have done. And that just angered Bianca even more. And Bianca says that she hates her father, and she claims that he abused her for years. Apparently, Bianca's father works as a athletic director, and she said, you deserve the hell you endure. You ruined my life. You ruined my mother's life at 25 years old. I'm tired of being silent. You do not deserve a platform as an athletic director. And then she said that I'm okay. I'm simply tired of jabs being taken at me when you have CA, doing things for putting his hands on children, charges on you. And I don't mean sexually, doing anything with children. I mean physically, harming them by striking them, kicking them, etc. She said you effed my mama's life up. You made confessional tapes you showed us years later, making my mom look insane for confirming your abuse. You completely disregard your own children and you constantly praise your step baby. We are your blood. We hurt and you don't give a F about it. This court case was originally against Bianca's mother and her father, and there was a 13-year-old child that was set to speak as a witness on the mom's side, and Bianca was 13 years old at the time. So it was assumed to be Bianca that was supposed to be the witness testifying against her dad, but the day she was supposed to testify, according to Sarcasm, they ended up dismissing the case, which I'm assuming that they ended up dismissing it because she probably did not show up to testify. That's just my assumptions because I've heard of other cases getting dropped if the witness doesn't show up in the past. And now let's talk about Troy. Troy went on this long rant on Facebook, and I'm sorry, dude, nobody is reading all that. We are just gonna skim through it real quick, and he's just pretty much clapping back at people who keep saying that he's too good for Zaria. They don't understand why he's with her. And he says, if I don't stay true to myself, I wouldn't be standing here on all 10. Okay, so he says, I haven't been home 5 months and she did 5 years with me and she didn't know me. And when I say she was there, I mean that. Even through infidelity, Zaria never left my side, and we have a bond that is unexplainable to the world because only the universe that connected us together understands our higher power. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. He says, okay, my wife sacrificed so much of her inner being to be there for me. She wasn't completely there for me when my father's mother died, but she didn't leave. She was going through her own ish emotionally and mentally that I wasn't being understanding of. So yeah, she effed up, and I did too, just in verbal, mental, and financial abuse. Hurt people want to hurt people, but all is forgiven. We still here, and that's all jail-ish. Okay, what is he talking about financial abuse, though? Is he talking about like he cut her off financially because she cheated on her? What does he mean by that? And then he says, the real story, one day you can all read it in a book. Okay, so now they got a book coming. But usually they have like in their contract that they're not allowed to sell like their life story for a certain amount of years after they sign a contract with the show. Usually it's about 2 to 5 years on average. And then he goes on to say, I'm going to stand by my wife. She has been there on the phone with me for the past 5 years. You have no idea how many meetings I sat there with her through. He claimed that she always made sure she had a job so she could answer all his phone calls. And I'm sure that her bosses just loved her just chatting on the phone all day with her prison husband. But hey, if you are getting paid to do that, I guess go off. And then he goes on and says, I know our kid's going to be good for generations to come and many, many more. You know, they're one of the few couples I don't think I've really heard talk about wanting to have babies. I don't think I've heard Zaria or Troy be like, oh, we need to hurry up and have babies together. I wonder if they plan on having any babies of their own in the future, or if they're both done. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.